Right. Okay. So as you can see, I'm wearing a jacket. I'm so cold today. I don't know what's going on. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here today, or if you're watching this class afterwards. This class is going to be, there are going to be a lot of heart opening. That's what we call it in yoga, but it's basically extension of the back. So that's flexion, and this is extension. So it's going to be a lot of shoulder openings. And then we're going to progress to a pose called Ustrasana or Camel pose, which is quite simple pose. But if you have anything that resembles a block, yoga block, which could be a book or anything that you have around the house, it's quite good to have, because then you can use it as a prop so that you don't have to use your lower back so much. I'm going to put the microphone on and then we'll start. Okay, wonderful. Right. So let's take a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth, making a sound, sighing through the mouth. And one more time, inhale. And exhale. Take a moment here to just assess how you're feeling today, especially around the shoulder area. Also, how you're feeling about your energy levels. And with the next inhale, open your eyes. Welcome to this class. We're going to lie down on our left side. Wonderful. We're going to start by placing the right foot on the floor. And this is kind of quite comfortable. With the next inhale, we're going to make a big rainbow with the left hand and lift the hips off the floor. Feel the stretch here. And then exhale, release. And then we're going to go into a sort of dynamic flow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, releasing. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Bring both knees onto the chest. Come back to center and onto the other side we go. So same thing, lie onto your right side this time. Bring the left foot forwards. And then inhale, lift the arm. Exhale, release. Inhale, lifting the arm over the head. Exhale, release. Inhaling, lifting. Exhale, releasing. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Bring the knees onto the chest. And release the feet. And I think someone else has entered. Oh, that's Ellie. Okay. Right. I'll take this opportunity to take my jacket off. Wonderful. So we're here in the center. As I said, as we're going to be working with the back, walk the hands behind you and open the chest. Bend the elbows a little bit. Keep your connection between your hips and the floor. And look up. Try to bring each shoulder blade towards each other. Kind of like closing the gap between them. And walking the hands back, inhale one side, and then onto the other side. And keep going. Almost like bouncing back. Bounce to the other side. Keep going. And then come back to center. Bring the hands behind you. Interlace the fingers. With the next inhale, start stretching the arms behind you as you open the chest, look up. Release. Bring the arms into cactus. Start turning towards the left. And then bring the right hand outside the left knee. And then take a twist. With this other arm, you can still keep it in cactus. Or perhaps if that's too much, wrap it around your hip and bring the hand outside your, goodness, your right leg. I don't know where my right and my leg, my left is. And then come back. Arms back into cactus, like you're holding something. And then exhale, start turning towards the other side, the right side. Left hand goes outside the right knee. This hand stays here or goes around, wraps around. Back to center. Do a little bit of shoulder rolling. One way and the other way, feels really good. And then finish by rolling back. And then come to all fours. And in here, we're going to move forwards and back for a couple of times. Inhaling as you move forwards and exhale as you move back. And then we're gonna start moving in diagonal. So sending your hips towards the left, stretching your hands towards the right. And then over to the other side. And again, moving in coordination with your breath. So as you inhale, move forwards, and as you exhale, you move back, but in a sort of diagonal way. One more time. And then come back to center. Bring the knees back underneath the hips. Stretch the right leg back. And then very, very gently start moving your body weight towards the left. Opening the right hand towards the ceiling. Option number one, you stay here. Option number two, you lean forwards and open the leg. Option number three, bend the knee, hand to the foot to the hand, open a little bit into another extension of the back or heart opening. And then exhale, release. Come back to center. Stretch the left leg back this time. Start pivoting to that right side. And then option number one, you just stay here. On option number two, you move forwards and lift the leg parallel with the floor. And option number three, bend the knee, hand to the foot presses onto the hand, and the hand presses onto the foot as you open the chest towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Come back. And then make your way down to the floor. And we're going to be doing some sort of Savasana. But first, we're going to warm the back by being in Sphinx pose. So bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders. Yes, that's right. and then bringing the elbows. This is it's a very subtle movement. There is actually no movement involved. So the elbows almost like they want to go towards the knees and the knees towards the elbow as you move the chest forwards and your shoulders go back. So it's very subtle. It's more like energetic rather than an actual movement. That the elbows move back and your chest moves forwards. And then exhale, release to the floor. Do a little bit of movement of the hips from side to side, releasing any tension on the lower back before we go. Okay, hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the right leg up and extend the left arm forwards. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the left leg up, right hand forwards. And then release. Okay, extend both arms and hands and legs up off the floor. And then release. Wonderful. Okay, bend the right knee. First, we're gonna go into a pose called Ardha Vikasana. Grab hold of the foot and then start bringing the foot towards you. With the next inhale, start turning the torso towards the left. So opposite direction from the foot that you've got. Keep breathing here. Keep squeezing that foot towards you. If you've done some running or walking or cycling recently, this is probably killing your thigh muscles, so be gentle with it. And then exhale, release. Ardha Vikasana on the other side. Bend the left knee. Grab hold of that foot. Bringing the foot towards you. And then with the next exhale, moving the torso slightly towards the right. Keep your head relaxed. And then release. Move the hips from side to side again. You can even look over your shoulder. Wonderful. And then we're gonna go into Shalabhasana. So bend both knees. And bring the hands to the ankles. Bring both knees together. To start with, I know that not many people can lift with the legs together, but the aim of this pose is that you have your knees together. If you need to open your knees, that's not a problem. And if you feel at any point that you're packing your lower back, please come out of it. So the next inhale, lift. With the breath, you can rock a little bit. And then release. Beautiful. Okay, we're gonna come back into child's pose. So Balasana. You can keep your knees together or slightly apart. And then if you want to open your shoulders a little bit more, bring the hands together in pranam and place them over your head. And if you wanted to open the shoulders even a bit more, you can use the blocks underneath your elbows to gain a little bit more. And this is quite intense. So if you think, wow, that's super intense on my shoulders, then maybe it's not the right thing to do for you right now. And then release. Bring the hands underneath, bring the hands forwards. And then tuck the toes under and come up into tiger dog first. Do a little dance, dancing from side to side. Moving the head, moving the hips. Beautiful. And then we walk in the hands and the feet towards the middle of the mat. If you need to bend your knees here in Uttanasana, that's absolutely fine. Wherever you are, press onto the feet and bring the hands to the hips. Shoulders back, elbows back, and then with your back totally straight, we're coming back up. And we're gonna do this twice more. Keep your hands on your hips and start moving forwards with the breath. So as you exhale, start moving forwards into a folding forwards position. Pressing onto the feet. Inhale, come all the way back up. And then one more time. Exhale, move forwards. This time, interlace the fingers behind your back. And then see if with the next exhale, you can start stretching the arms behind you and folding forwards. Keep your knees soft, like a slightly bent. Release the head. And inhale, come all the way back up. And let's do a little bit of a back bend, lifting the arms up. And then exhale. Release down. Move the hands forwards and your feet back. So that we're coming into downward facing dog. Breathe here, 5 deep breaths. With the next inhale, we're going to lift the back leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring the knee towards the chest, hold. And then plant the foot forwards between the hands. Inhale, coming to warrior one or high lunge. And then exhale, plant the back foot down, coming into second warrior. Bring the hands behind your back and interlace the fingers. Create some space on the sides of the body and breathe into the sort of kidney areas connecting with the back of your body as well. Start stretching the arms behind you. As you exhale, come forwards into humble warrior. Bringing the head towards the floor and the arms overhead. Keeping the hands together, start opening the chest, revolving the chest towards the ceiling. This is quite intense. If you need to release the hands and bring the hand down, you can also do that. Otherwise, keep breathing there. And then come up. Hands back to warrior two. And reverse your warrior. This time, revolve the chest so the chest is kind of looking towards the ceiling. And then exhale. Come down with your hands. Friend the front foot. And then step back into plank pose. Take a moment here. Bring the left hand underneath the shoulder or slightly forwards. Pivot onto the left foot and come into Ustrasana on one side. But you can always bring that knee down like we were doing at the beginning. That's absolutely fine. Option number one, option number two. Option number three, maybe you can come into a tree and even bring the hand in line with the ear. That's option number 3 or 4, I don't know. And then exhale, release back into plank. You can bring the knees down if that's too much. And then bring the right hand underneath the head or slightly forwards. Pivot onto that right foot, come onto Ustrasana, other side. You can perhaps come into sort of tree. And then bring the arm in line with the ear. Keep lifting the hips towards the ceiling. And then exhale, release. Bring the knees, the chest and the chin to the floor. Inhale, sweep the chest forwards into Cobra. And let's stay here in Cobra for a couple of breaths. Keep your legs engaged so that your lower back is not suffering there. And then exhale into down dog. And breathe. Inhale, lift the left leg back and up. Exhale, bring the knee towards the chest and hold. And then plant the back foot forwards. or the left foot forwards. Come up into high lunge first. Plant the back foot down, coming into Ustrasana 2. Bring the hands behind you. Interlace the fingers. Create some space, breathing onto the back body, especially around the kidney area. Stretching the arms behind you. Exhale. Folding forwards into Humble Warrior. Arms underneath the back or stretching towards the ceiling. And then start revolving the chest towards the ceiling. Remember, you can undo your hands and plant them on the floor if that's too much. One more inhale, come up. Extend the arms. Revolve the chest towards the front and then come into a reverse warrior. And then back to your first or second warrior. Bring the hands down to the floor. Step back into plank. Hold your plank. Again, we're going to go into side plank. Left hand comes underneath the head. Remember, you can take an easier plank by being on your knee. Breathe here. Bring the arm in line with the ear this time. Stacking one foot on top of the other. Exhale, release. Right hand underneath the head. Pivot onto the other side. Arm in line with the ear. And then release. Bring the knees, chest and chin onto the floor. Inhale, lifting the chest forward, shoulders back. Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, we're going to sit on our heels. And release. Bring the hands behind your hips. Move the hands back. Inhale, lift the hips up. Opening the chest towards the ceiling. And then exhale, release the hips down. Inhale, lift the right arm up. And as you exhale, start revolving or like turning towards the left side. Bend the left hand and then come into a sort of extension, but also a twist. And then come back. And swap hands. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Start bending the right elbow. And looking behind you. And then come back up. Wonderful. Let's come into our knees. And what we're doing here is not coming into camel pose just yet. All we're doing is moving back, moving forwards, moving back, moving forwards, move back. Inhale, move forwards. We're going to do this 3 more times. Of course, if this is kind of really uncomfortable with your knees, you might need to put something underneath. Try not to bend your back either way, just like if you were completely still. And then release. Down. Wonderful. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come down. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, coming down. One more time. Inhale, come up. This time, hands down. Walk the hands forwards, back into down dog. 5 breaths here. Remember, for this pose, downward facing dog, you can always bring your heels, your knees down and take a more restorative pose. There is no need for you to be doing, all the downward facing dogs or vinyasas all the time. Come forwards into plank. Breathe here. Bring the left hand to the middle of the floor and then slowly descend down, like when we started the class. Bring the elbow down, bring the foot forwards. We're going to do the same as we did at the beginning of the class. Inhale, lift. And you can come onto the toes, or you can have the foot flat on the floor. And then exhale, release. Bring both knees onto the chest. Go on to the other side. It's called Vishnu Coach. So like if you're lying on a sofa. And then inhale, lift. Probably you would never lie on a sofa like this, but never mind. Maybe the god Vishnu likes doing that. Bring the knees back in. Come back onto your knees and come back into down dog. Inhale, lift the right leg back and up. And exhale, bring the foot forward between the hands. Plant the back foot down. We're going to come into Trikonasana. Stretch both legs. And then open the chest towards the ceiling. If you have a block, this is a wonderful place to use it. You can find a lot of length by using a block that way or that way. And then bring the arm in line with the ear once more. We're going to come into a pose called Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. And then on to the next version, which is Ardha Chandra Chapasana, which is also a chest open. So whenever you're ready, soften through the front knee. Move your body forwards and the block forwards if you have one. Lift into Ardha Chandrasana. And then from here, option to stay here, option to bend the knee like we did at the beginning of the class. Grab the foot and then enter into this beautiful back bend. And moving the chest towards the ceiling. And then release. Come back, down, hands down, back to plank. Knees, chest and chin onto the floor, inhale into cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg back and up. Exhale, foot forwards between the hands. Plant the back foot down and straight into your Trikonasana, your triangle pose. Block if you have one. If you don't worry about it. Stretch the arm towards the ceiling to start with. Engage both legs towards each other. And then loosen it up. So it's a little bit of what we call muscular energy and organic energy. So one is towards the middle, engaging both legs towards the middle, and then extending the power onto the feet. Arm in line with the ear. Bend the front knee. Start transferring the body forwards, walking the hand or the block forwards. Lift the other leg up, the right leg, parallel with the floor. Arm towards the sky. And maybe for our Ardha Chandra Chapasana, bending the knee, opening that chest. Start revolving towards the ceiling. And then exhale, release. Hands down. Step back. Knees, chest and chin. Inhale, lift. Cobra Bhujangasana. Exhale. It's down. By now, your lower back should be quite warm, so that we can enter into a little bit of an extension of the back as well. Breathing. Bring the knees down to the floor. And then sit back on your heels. And we're going to try what we were doing before again, as just a sort of exercise to see whether Our lower back is still okay. So we're coming onto our knees. And then again, press the hands onto your sort of kidney area. And from here, start leaning back, leaning loads, and then come back. And we're gonna do this 4 more times. Leaning back loads, and then coming back. Leaning back loads. Inhale, come back. 1 more time, inhale, and exhale. Bring the hands down to the floor. Do a little bit of movement, like free movement of the back. Bring the elbows to the floor and interlace the hands together. Here we're coming into dolphin pose. We would say in this pose, melt your heart towards the floor. What does that actually mean? Just relax your breastbone towards the floor and then start breathing onto the back body, onto the kidney area again. Tuck the toes under and then keeping the shoulders where they are on top of the oops. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Someone was phoning me. Anyway, keeping your shoulders on top of the elbows, lift the knees off the floor and walk the feet towards your elbows. From here, see if you can perhaps maybe lift one leg up. And that's quite intense. So if you can't do that, don't worry about it. And then exhale, release. Inhale, lift the opposite leg up. Exhale, release. Bring the knees down. Come back onto your heels. Hands behind you. Inhale, lift the hips off the floor. And exhale, release. Okay, wonderful. Bring your right hand to the floor. Inhale, lateral opening. Arm in line with the ear. Back to center. And onto the other side. Back to center. Okay, and we're going to try some camel pose. So if you have blocks, wonderful. If you don't you worry. We're coming onto our knees again. See how before we were just leaning back. So now we're not gonna lean. We're going to keep the hips on top of the knees. Tuck the toes under. And keeping the hips where they are. Start opening the chest. Shoulders back. Bring the right hand either to the block or to the foot. Maybe the block needs to be like that. Keep the hips parallel. Inhale, lift the left arm towards the ceiling. Again, keep pushing your hips forwards as you do so. And then exhale, release. Same thing on the side. Trying to keep your hips anchored. Maybe moving the block so that it's kind of in the right place. Inhale, lift the right arm up. Move the hips forwards. Enter into this beautiful extension of the back. And then release. Okay, ready for big pose. Either having your hands behind your hips, or perhaps just having them on the sides. Anyway, your hips don't move. What happens here is you open your chest. Maybe you're able to bring your hands to the blocks or to the hips. To the heels. Move your chest so that it opens. Try not to throw your head back too much. And breathe. And of course, you can have your toes tucked under, if that helps, because that might gain a little bit of Hi. 2 more breaths in here. And slowly come out of it. Bring your seat bones down towards your heel. And walk the hands forwards into Balasana. You can have your hands together and bring them back. Just like if you had an antenna with your hands, reconnecting to the rhythm of your breath. Take a moment to assess the state of your lower back as well. Bring the hands down and then come up into down dog. And here you can move again from side to side. Wonderful. Inhale, lift the right leg back and up. And as you exhale, bring the knee forward, drop it down for pigeon pose. Stretch the back leg onto the floor. Move from side to side a little bit. And then start standing onto the floor. Arms forwards. You can have your hands together. Make sure that your back leg is straight. Walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes under, come up into down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, knee forwards, drop it outside the left hand, stretching the right leg behind you, coming forwards. And this time I'm gonna walk back and bring the feet onto the floor. Bring your hands behind you, fingers pointing towards your feet, unless you've got a lot of tension on your wrists. Maybe they can point towards the sides. It's really up to you. Bring the feet onto the floor, then inhale, come into tabletop. And on tabletop, you can be here, easy version, or you can stretch your legs. And again, it's a different option. Stretching your legs, bringing the feet towards the floor. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale into Paschimottanasana, folding forwards. Again, checking with your lower back. Wonderful. Inhale, come out. Give yourself a little massage on your legs. Acknowledging and being grateful for having these 2 legs that are working and are carrying you everywhere and are allowing you to do yoga. We're going to do a little bit of a balancing to go into Navasana here. So bringing the knees onto your chest, lift the feet off the floor, and then start bringing the legs parallel with the floor. And then maybe you can release the hands. When you do this, remember, not too much rounding, lifting the chest, looking towards the ceiling or towards your toes. You can wriggle the toes. Maybe you can stretch the legs without falling. And then really slowly, coming down onto the floor. Wow, I can't see anything with this sun. It's a really good problem to have. Don't get me wrong. I can't see anything. Okay, so bring in the knees in line with the feet, or feet in line with the knees. Bend the elbows. Elbows onto the floor, hands pointing towards the ceiling, like robot hands. Relax the shoulders. Push onto the feet. Inhale, lift the hips off the floor. Now, option number one, we stay here. Option number two, we bring the hands, the palms of the hands, onto the pelvis, which is the bone that we have there on the back of lower back. And from here, we either stay here or we either lift one leg up. Remember, you can be on the easy pose, and that's absolutely fine for your bridge, half bridge pose. And then exhale, release. Inhale, lift the opposite leg, left leg goes up. Exhale, release. Release back, down to the floor. Option two, you simply lift the legs up. And this is great. And even you can bring them to the wall, and it's a really relaxing pose called Viparita Karani. Or option to come into shoulder stand. But first, maybe going into Halasana plow pose by lifting the legs off. Place the hands onto the lower back, where your pelvis is. And from here, lifting the legs up towards the ceiling. Walking one shoulder towards each other. And here you don't have to be static, you can do anything you like with your legs. Bring your feet together, feet to the sides. Wrap your arms and legs. And even like release your hands down to the floor and interlace the fingers. And when you're ready, start releasing down from wherever you are, whether you just have legs up or you're in full version of the shoulder stand. Bring your hands underneath your legs, like you're sitting onto your hands, which is quite weird. And pressing onto the elbows, we're going to go into fish pose. So inhale, push up, lift the head off the floor, and really slowly releasing the head, slightly the crown of the head towards the floor. And then exhale, release. Be careful with your hair. I always trap my hair, it's quite uncomfortable. Wonderful. Bring the knees onto the chest, give them a little squeeze. Inhale, lift the head towards the knees. Rocking from side to side in your cosmic egg pose. And then back down. And the feet down. Walk the hips slightly to the left. Drop the knees towards the right. Arms into cactus. And then inhale, bring the knees back to center. Walk the hips slightly to the right and drop them. The hips and drop the knees towards the left. And back to center. Bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug. And when you're ready, dropping the legs down to the floor for final relaxation, Savasana. Move the shoulders away from the ears, let the hands face the ceiling, feet drop to the side. If you need to put something warm on, We're only going to be here for 3 minutes, but still it's nice to be warm and cozy so that you can relax for those minutes. Super auspicious day if you're interested in Indian culture. We're celebrating the last day of Navaratri, which is the festival of the goddess Durga. And Navaratri means the 9 nights of the goddess. Until today, they celebrate the victory over the demon, the demons, which basically symbolizes the victory about consciousness winning over ignorance. And the ignorance means that we are separated. We're not separated, we're all the same. So feel like you are the same with the mat, you are the same with the floor underneath you, as we have the same components of everything that is found in the universe. Come into this relaxation of oneness, which I think is a beautiful thought. And even if you don't share any beliefs with this, it's wonderful to know where the traditions that you're practicing come from and what's happening on the other side of the world. This beautiful festival happening as we speak. Notice how your body enjoys the benefits of the practice, that pulsation through your body, and how at the same time it relaxes and lets go of any tension. Stay here in Savasana for as long as you need to. If you want to just close the session and remain in Savasana for otherwise, start bringing the awareness to your breath. Allowing some small gentle movements into the body. And when you're ready to come out of your relaxation, rolling onto the right side of the body. See the position in your own time. Hands to the heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.